I totally prefer to just meet somebody organically. There has to be physical attraction. There has to be intellectual attraction.
I definitely don't want someone who's such a prima donna like Kody is.
We're all supposed to be Robyn.
I wish they would all focus on their own relationships without my name coming up.
Polygamy doesn't work if you're going to actually fall in love.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, March 31st, 2025. I'm always interested in polygamy, the woman that was the legal wife. I'm always wondering how hard it is to be that wife because you're the one that has the legal relationship. You're the one that fills out your taxes with your spouse. You're the one that is able to claim your husband. You're the one that first got married legally and he had no other women around him. And I always wonder what kind of mind bending experience that would be for a woman. I've spoken to so many women that have been first wives and just how heartbreaking it is, especially every single time a new wife comes into the fold, because every time a husband takes on a new woman, it's like another step away from her husband that she thought she was going to have on her own. Now, something that is also what happens is called first wife syndrome. And we've talked about this on the channel before. Some people don't like that I bring this up, but it really is a phenomenon. And it's this complete insecurity of the first wife and the ongoing trauma that the first wife experiences because of every single time a new woman is brought in, it's another compounding trauma to the wife, along with the children that are born outside of wedlock, and this like unbearable amount of stress and trauma it creates for the woman because she is not allowed to feel. There have been sociological studies that have looked at the overwhelming issues that happen to women that are first wives and women in plural marriage like this, where it's not based on consent. And overwhelmingly, these sociological studies have found that women in polygamy have poorer mental health than women that are not in polygamist relationships. And it's largely due to the competitiveness, the lack of emotional needs being met, the jealousy, and the constant fight or flight that they're in. And one way of trying to get through your trauma is to process it, right? And for a long time, Meri Brown was not allowed to say anything. She was very muted on the show. She was constantly said that if she spoke her voice, it was too loud, it was too aggressive. They constantly belittled her and berated her for having an opinion or wanting things done a certain way. And in this world, like, you cannot be an individual, right? So, something I think about with Meri that has always bothered me is that they always would talk about how Meri was so particular about how she wanted her house. And this was something that was offensive to Janelle and Christine, to which I say, why is it offensive to want your house to be a certain way? It's actually not. I always got the sense that when it came to all of the different women, Janelle had this like entitlement as though she felt like she should be entitled. Maybe she wanted community living and that's not what she got, but this sense of entitlement that what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. But that's not how they lived. So I don't understand why it matters if you don't want people in your house jumping on couches or digging through your cabinets or going into your refrigerator or breaking stuff or using your house as a hallway. I mean, to me, these are not things that are normal complaints. I mean, most people respect other people's spaces or just walking through the door of someone's house without knocking. The things that they would complain about Meri are just normal issues of common courtesy. Now, some people didn't care, but just because they didn't care about people knocking or they didn't care about people rifling through their refrigerator or they didn't care about kids going up and down their stairs or they didn't care about those things didn't mean that it was bad that Meri did care. but she was always being gaslit, made to feel like whatever she felt was wrong. I don't doubt that because Meri was strict and wanted things in her house to be under her control and wanted her life to be a certain way when she was in the confines of her own space, that this created a unhealthy dynamic with the women. And I also can see how some of the kids wouldn't like it if Meri told them no. I mean, some of the biggest complaints the kids have with Meri is that she said no a lot. Okay, but something that she's doing on her social media is spending a lot of time talking about healing and getting through the tough times and trying to like process what she went through. And I'm sure it's overwhelming to have to process growing up this way. So I wanted to share a couple things. Silence. Growing up in a plural family in Utah in the 1970s with a dad on the police force, he needs to provide for his family, must be silent. The big brown truck, aka UPS, comes with a box from grandma, and in all excitement, I can't go to the door in fear of the lady across the street who will once again call in to report us for not being in school when my mom, an educator, was teaching us at home. Must hide. Playing hide and seek at a church youth event and hearing the conversation that everyone had been found as they go on to the next event, then crawling out of my hiding place, getting in my car and driving away, never to go to a youth event again, unseen. Having emotions as a young wife and mom, being told time and time again I was wrong for feeling what I was feeling. Keep it all inside. Being silenced and small was normal. Then I became loud so I could be heard, noticed, but the pendulum had swung too far to the other side, too loud. Learning balance has been my friend. Speak when I need to, stay silent when it serves me. There are those who still try to silence me. They don't know me. They don't know the me who will stand up for myself. They only know the person who, in my strength, was silent to make peace. They thought that was my weakness. I promise you it wasn't. I'm worthy of being heard. I'm worthy of being seen. I'm worthy of being loved. I'm worthy of feeling. I'm worthy of love. I am worthy. I'm staying true to my value system as I'm speaking my truth, as I'm standing up for me. I am kind, though maybe a bit salty at times. I won't be silenced. My story deserves to be heard. It's worth hearing. Will you hear it? Okay. I think what I took away from this specifically was the fact that she was forced to live in a life of secrecy. And within that life of secrecy, it bred insecurity in her and feeling like she couldn't be authentic or who she wanted to be and she wasn't able to express herself. And then having to constantly not feel emotions. Something that I got that was really powerful was having emotions as a young wife and mom and being told time and again I was wrong for feeling what I was feeling. Keep it all inside. Can you imagine being a woman that's, just had a baby and your husband has other babies with other women, and then you're struggling to get pregnant a second time, and he has other women pregnant, and you're not allowed to feel sad that you're not able to get pregnant again, or you're not allowed to be angry that your husband has these other women that he's continuing to have children with when they're not his legal wives. And that in a way that if something were to happen with any one of these women, because you're the legal wife, your husband could theoretically be on the hook for child support and all of these other financial requirements that you didn't personally sign up for when you became his legal wife. Like it wasn't your responsibility that he had these relationships outside of wedlock. He did that himself. And then he tells you that, you need to just deal with it. You're not allowed to have feelings. You're wrong for feeling jealous. Can you imagine what a mind fuck that would be? I'm just going to say it. And then this other part was there are those who still try to silence me. They don't know me. They don't know the me who will stand up for myself. They only know the person who, in my strength, was silent to make peace. They thought that was my weakness. I promise you it wasn't. I think that what she's talking about there, and if I could be honest, I'm sure it's probably Kody and Robyn or the other women. I don't know. I don't see her having too much anger towards the other women at this point in time, though. I still think she harbors anger towards Kody and frustration towards Robyn. And I think they would be trying to still silence her. They thought silence was my weakness. I promise you it wasn't. They don't know the me who will stand up for myself. Kody will say that she changed. Meri changed. So did Meri changing become a Meri that became more assertive and more willing to speak up for herself? The Meri I saw towards the end of their marriage was like so scared to rock the boat and never said a word to anyone about anything, much different than prior to when they got their legal divorce. Quite honestly, it was sad to watch her become so like inside of herself. No matter what I think about what Mary's done or who she's hurt and if she's hurt children, my heart goes out to women that have to live like this. And then a couple days ago, she wrote this: sitting in discomfort is one of the hardest things I'm required to do. Remaining calm in the unknown as things shift and turn around me, and learning it and leaning into all the emotions when really I just want to run, to hide, to scream. This takes strength. Sitting in it, allowing the emotions to rise and fall, to come and go, riding the relentless roller coaster of feelings. It's exhausting. My strong instinct is to find a distraction bigger than the waves of this emotion. But instead, what if I just sit in it? What if I allow the emotions of sadness or the uncertainty of the unknown or any of the other countless emotions encircling me as I process through all of this? What if I just sit and let it exist? There's something raw and honest about letting myself just feel. It's incredibly uncomfortable and ugly and painful. Honestly, I quite hate it. The not knowing when it will end, the hope of feeling normal again. But wait, this is normal. This is life. This is the unraveling that must happen to release all the stored trauma. Each emotion, each ache, each uncomfortable sensation is proof of something meaningful happening within me. The discomfort is teaching me patience. It demands stillness, even when every part of my mind is screaming for escape. And in sitting with this, I notice emotions shifting. They don't disappear, they just evolve. Perhaps there's no need to rush. Perhaps if I just sit here and allow things to be, if I just accept what currently is without judgment on myself, maybe I could see this pain as not an enemy, but a loving guide leading me somewhere I can't yet see. So here I sit, breathing, feeling, hurting, healing, and loving. In doing this, I remember that I'm strong enough to carry it. I've done this before and I'll likely do it again. I'm here for it. You know, a lot of times when Meri writes, before she left Kody, she was always so like toxically positive. And I'm going to be honest, when I read this today, when she wrote this, I felt like it was maybe one of the most real posts she's ever made, where she's not, I don't know, trying to help someone else or try to like inspire someone, but rather just like sharing how hard it is. I think when people are in a really high control group like the Browns were in, one thing that a lot of people that are in high control groups like is the certainty of the group. Like when you have someone and a system that's telling you every single day what to do, think, feel, who to associate with, what kind of media to consume, who to socialize with, what to eat, what to drink. When you have all of these lists of things, right? Rules, legalism, there's a certainty that if I follow these rules, if I do these things, I will get this. And when you extract that out of your life, it's like you've taken this certainty and it's like, holy shnikey, what do I do now? And I think that's where she's at. Like she's lost that certainty. But I also think that when you've spent your whole life not being able to feel or think or breathe or have your own emotions, I would imagine that any emotion is overwhelming. And I would imagine that it would be weird to learn when you're in your mid 50s that it is okay to feel jealousy. It is okay to feel anger. It is okay to have an opinion. It is okay to want more for yourself. It's okay to express that you're not being treated well. It's weird to think that she was in her 50s when she realized, I don't have to do this anymore. And then to like come out of it, for her to like literally say, this is the unraveling that must happen to release all the stored trauma. Can you imagine what this poor woman's gone through? This is like what hurts my heart about polygamy. Whether I dislike Meri or like any of these family members, it hurts my heart to know that people spend their lives not knowing how to feel and not being allowed to feel. And then these women being forced to endure so much trauma. I'm just glad she's finally sharing it. And I truthfully connect a lot more with the way she shares it currently than the way that Christine is currently sharing it. And it could be just completely different points of view, completely different points in their journeys. But this Meri is a Meri that I think fans could see and want to know instead of the Meri that's been beaten down. I'm just glad she feels safe sharing it. I'm glad that she has a community willing to hear it. And I hope that she's no longer silenced and that she knows that she doesn't have to be bullied and silenced by Kody and Robyn anymore. And I do think that the first post about people still trying to silence her is Kody and Robyn. And I think these posts are all about allowing her to take back her agency, which is really good. So I would be interested to read Meri's book. I kind of feel like if Meri wrote a book, it would be really honest, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.